Leaders of an international organised crime group has been arrested in the United Arab Emirates. Mr. Kinahan, who's in his 40s, was detained on foot of an arrest warrant issued by the Irish courts in relation to alleged serious organised crime offences. Dubai police said the arrest took place on the 15th of April.
Daniel Kinahan is one of the three leaders of the Kinahan organised crime group who moved here to the United Arab Emirates from the Costa del Sol in Spain, following the murder of his friend and fellow gang member David Byrne. Byrne was shot dead by the rival Hutch organised crime group at the Regency Hotel in February 2016. But Gardaí say that Daniel was the primary target and only got away because he took a left turn that day and the gunmen turned right. The murder escalated the ongoing Hutch-Kinahan feud, which has so far cost 18 lives and led the Gardaí to focus on the leaders of both organised crime groups. The government and the Gardaí built relationships with international law enforcement agencies in Europe, the Middle East and the United States, and the US Treasury sanctioned the leaders of the Kinahan gang, including Daniel Kinahan, and offered a $5 million reward for information leading to his arrest. That arrest came 2 days ago in Dubai, following an intensive Garda investigation and the submission of a file to the Director of Public Prosecutions. The DPP directed that Daniel Kinahan be charged with organised crime offences. The Gardaí secured a warrant for his arrest in the High Court here, which was then transmitted to the authorities in the UAE. As part of a bilateral agreement, the 47-year-old was then arrested.
Well, let's speak to our crime correspondent, Paul Reynolds now. Paul, how significant is this arrest of Daniel Kinahan?
Well, the Gardaí and the government are saying tonight that this is highly significant. They say it demonstrates, first of all, the ability of the Gardaí to develop partnership with international law enforcement, not just in the US, in Europe, in Australia, in the Netherlands, but specifically in the Middle East with the United Arab Emirates, which has enabled this development tonight. And they also say that it points to the fact that people may flee the country, they may even flee the continent, but they can still be arrested and brought back to face trial here, as is the case in the other senior Kinahan gang member, Sean McGovern, who was the first person ever to be extradited from the United Arab Emirates.
So, Paul, he was arrested 2 days ago. What happens next in this investigation?
Well, quite surprisingly, we received a rather detailed statement, not just from Garda headquarters, but also from the Dubai police tonight, detailing how this arrest came about. They said they've described Daniel Kinahan as, quote, a fugitive in their press release, and they say that once they received a detailed judicial file from the Irish authorities outlining his alleged involvement in transnational organised crime, they began a specialised operation and a surveillance operation, which within 48 hours of the receipt of the warrant, they had arrested Daniel Kinahan in Dubai. They also say that the Dubai police arrested him 2 days ago, and he remains in custody. So what happens now, this arrest is part of a bilateral extradition agreement, so extradition proceedings now commence. It's in many ways it's up to Daniel Kinahan himself to decide whether he wants to contest these proceedings while he remains in custody in Dubai, or whether, like Sean McGovern, he initially begins to contest them, but then agrees to come back, which is what McGovern did. He subsequently pleaded guilty before the Special Criminal Court, and he is now awaiting sentence later this month. Daniel Kinahan will also be brought back upon commencement of those extradition proceedings if they are successful, and he too will be brought before the Special Criminal Court.
All right, crime correspondent Paul Reynolds, thank you for that.
Iran